And joining me now from Ottawa is the Page who protested.
Canadians may remember this young Page who stood up in the House of Commons. Her message was for people to take action and find creative ways to stand up for what you believe in.
We need to take action through civil disobedience, find creative ways to do it. People of all walks of life finding creative ways within their workplaces or in the streets.
I have decided to take a, pardon the intended pun, page from her and use it as a rallying cry to bring attention to something Canadians, particularly the unilingual English Canadians, must be awakened to. Using her own words to highlight this issue, the reaction that is needed must come from both moderate French Canadians and, more importantly, from the majority English-speaking Canadians.
Blowing billions of dollars.
Yes, Canadians are blowing billions of dollars.
Now is the time.
And yes, now is the time that Canadians are made aware of something that is going on, which is totally and utterly not only unfair, but also, and more importantly, completely undemocratic. So, what is it that Canadians need to be made aware of? Well, it is in fact something that involves the job this girl was doing when she decided to make her appeal to the public, which garnered all that attention. That's right, the parliamentary page job this girl had in our Canadian Parliament. This is a job which afforded her the opportunity to be in a prestigious place called the Canadian House of Commons, a house that was established in 1867 when the British North American Act, now called the Constitution Act of 1867, created the Dominion of Canada, a house modelled on the British House of Commons. Now, I don't know if this young girl realizes it or not, but this parliamentary page position, which she used as her stage of protest against the sitting government, is a position that is not available to over 80% of young Canadian citizens. Why, you ask, or should ask? Are these positions not available to such a large majority group of young Canadians who no doubt would benefit quite generously from beginning their working career with such a prestigious note on their resume? Well, the reason this position and many other positions in the upper echelons of Canada's halls of power are not available to the overwhelming majority of Canada's young people is because these and many other positions have been deemed to be available to only people who are bilingual. That's right. This page job and many other highly sought-after positions of power in this country are outside the reach of the majority unilingual English-speaking Canadian citizens. Somehow, the unilingual English-speaking majority has allowed itself to be subjugated and thus relegated to having zero opportunities when it comes to any and all positions of power and control in this country. And, in this young parliamentary page's own words,
I think we really need to take action, and frankly, Canada needs an Arab Spring, and now is the time. The only real change we've ever seen has been through social movements, the civil rights movement, for example, and now is the time for ours.
Now is the time to recognize that most positions of power are exclusively reserved for a tiny 17.5% minority group of Canadians who happen to be bilingual. The Prime Minister of Canada, the leader of the official opposition, and practically every other ministerial position within the Canadian government itself. We are also beginning to see a trend towards more and more public positions having these language type restrictions as well, i.e., police services, ambulance services, airplane pilots, and most communication services as well.
I would like the bus driver to be able to welcome me in French.
Those in the private sector who are tasked with hiring are generally being forced to hire only bilingual applicants, which of course means they will be excluding the majority unilingual English-speaking Canadians. So, in the end, when I see this kind of discrimination happening, I ask myself, why would the majority English-speaking people in this country allow this to happen? The only reasonable answer I can come up with is the English-speaking majority just don't realize that this is happening to the degree that it is, and thus, this video. My way to honor the message for people to find imaginative ways to stand up for what you believe in. My way to say this is not right, and to help the majority become aware.
We need to engage in civil disobedience. We need to support social movements, workers. This is the only way we're going to see real change. It called for doing something that is different.